Hey, my name is Deborah Winters. Welcome to my YouTube channel, a place where you will hear conversations with ordinary people telling their extraordinary stories. Well, hey guys, welcome. We have a guest today, Nancy Sumner. She's here to share a couple of miracle stories, so we're excited to hear about those and be encouraged. So you have a great one about a friend that had cancer?
Yes.
So do tell.
Okay. I was at a Billy Burke meetings, and I had noticed that, a lot of people still needed healing, which was my mom and a friend of mine, and her name was Dina. And
she's still alive?
No, this happened a long time ago. This happened back in probably 2000.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And anyways, Dina needed a miracle. She was paralyzed, and she was in the last stages of cancer. And then also my mom was in the last stages of cancer.
Wow.
So we were going to go to a Billy Burke meeting.
Okay.
But I didn't have any help with Dina because she was paralyzed. I needed help. And that just didn't work out with her husband. He didn't want to take her. So she happened to call me while I was picking up my mom to go to the Billy Burke meeting. And she said, "Don't forget me." I'm like, "I need help getting you there." She goes, "I know, I don't have anybody."
Oh, wow.
And, sometimes the Holy Ghost says things by surprise. Well, the Holy Ghost said out of my mouth, "Don't worry, Dina. He will call you." And she said, "The preacher will call me?" And I'm like, "Oh, God.
What
did I
say?
I would never say that to a dying woman. I felt so bad. And I'm thinking, "Oh, Dina, I'll tell you what. You just pray, and I'm going to pray, and we're just going to believe God."
Wow.
So I'm on my way. We get to the meeting. Worship has gone on. And I'm
you're
sitting
praying.
there and I'm praying, "Lord, don't forget Dina. Lord, thank you for healing my mom. And don't forget Dina. Don't forget Dina." And so all of a sudden, the preacher, which was Billy Burke, he points and he says, "You, what are you believing for? Get up here." And I'm like, "Lord." And this is, now don't forget, back in the time too when cell phones were about this big, it was antenna, long distance. And so he calls me up there and he says, "What are you believing God for?" He says, "You're bothering me."
You're
bothering me.
So you weren't vocal in
No.
I mean, he just
I was
sensed
quietly
that
praying.
there was something in the spirit. Okay.
Yeah. So I run up there, I'm a nervous wreck, and I'm like, "Oh, God." And he says, "What are you believing for?" And I said, "Well, my mom is here. She has cancer. I'm believing for her." But I told him about Dina's case, too. And he said, "Somebody, who's got a cell phone in the audience? I need your cell phone right now." He called her. And it took about 10 minutes, but my friend walked.
Is that amazing?
Yes, amazing.
What a testimony.
Yes.
And your mom?
My mom also got prayed for, and she got healed of multiple myeloma. It took a process.
Yes.
It was a process
sometimes
of
miracles are
months.
instantaneous,
Yep.
and sometimes you have to walk it out, right?
Yep. Dina walked, and my mom, it took a matter of maybe 6-7 months, but yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And, I encourage you, if you're believing God for a miracle, God is the God of miracles. Nothing's impossible. And He is desiring more than anything to get a miracle to you. And, I also just want to share briefly, too, I was believing God to be pregnant even. I couldn't get pregnant. Our first one was adopted, and that's a miracle in itself. But I was believing God, and, when you're believing God, it's like very, especially when it's over a long period of time. It was 7 years.
Wow, that you were believing.
Yes.
After the first, after your adoption.
After the adoption, yeah. Well, the total is 7 years.
Oh, okay.
The adoption came at year 5, and then.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
all
then
right.
Kevin.
And then what happened?
So I was believing, and I actually literally changed churches.
You did.
I came over to Family Worship Center, and I heard Pastor Reggie say one thing.
Pastor Reggie Scarver.
Yes. He said you have to believe God and thank God and worship God as not just worship in church, but it has to be part of your life. And you have to abide by the first and greatest commandment, to love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. Love your neighbor as yourself. And that's worshiping God. So I began to worship God in my home. It was very different for me because I didn't know how to do it.
So were you in a Pentecostal church before?
I was, yes.
But it was so different. Okay.
Yep. So I just began to practice worshiping God and thanking God for my baby. And thanking God for a miracle. Because prior to that, I whined, I cried, I begged, I pleaded, I even made deals with God, and nothing was happening. And, it only takes one person to believe God.
Right.
And, my husband, he kind of gave up, So, but there's something about a woman.
You were determined.
We just don't ever give up.
You were determined.
So anyways, just never give up, never give up. But anyways, I began to worship God, and then it got easier and easier and easier. And just probably under 2 months, I got pregnant.
Really?
Yes.
Now, how old was Kevin at that time? Kevin was your first child that you adopted?
No, Keith is the first child that I adopted.
Okay.
That was a miracle too. But I got him when he was 2 days old, and I didn't know I was getting him. Yeah.
But you were trying to adopt.
Yes. Well, no. I really wasn't.
So maybe you should tell the story.
Oh, yes, that's another one.
Okay. We'll take a little
side trip. So I was believing God still, during this time. And I was teaching school, and I was doing career ed, and I was, the only people I hadn't heard from to come and share at the school was a cake decorator and a lawyer. Well, while I got a phone call from the office saying, hey, the lawyer has called, you need to call him back. So I call him back. And
now, were you believing for a child at this point?
I'm believing for a child. And I hear from a lawyer that I don't even know who this lawyer is. I thought it was maybe a partner. But what happened was I had called, I'm going to back up a little bit. I had called Goldie Runyon, who had HUG, Help Unfortunate Girls Ministry. And I asked, do they ever give the babies up for adoption? She goes, oh, no, honey, these girls all keep their babies. But if perchance someone does, I'll put your name on the list with a lawyer. And I said, oh, who's the lawyer? Because back then it was hush-hush.
Okay.
And she goes, oh, honey, I can't tell you that. But I'll just definitely try to get you on the list. So anyways, I go back to school now, and I'm going to make this phone call to this lawyer, and I'm not sure, this isn't the name, but okay, whatever, it's a partner. And so anyways, I make a phone call, and her name was, secretary was Nadine, and Nadine says, hello, Mrs. Sumner, are you still interested in adopting? Well, I'm looking around, I'm a little nervous because I just signed my contract. And back then, you just don't break your contracts, And so anyways, I said, yes, and how do you know? And she goes, well, your name is here on the list. And I said, how many people are on your list? She goes, oh, there's probably like 100. And she said, but nobody was home at the top of the list. So I decided to call the bottom of the list.
Oh my.
And so she says, can you come by this afternoon and bring an outfit? I said,
for a baby?
Are you kidding? And she goes, yeah. She goes, what do you want, a boy or a girl? I said, just a minute, ma'am, I got to tell my husband. She goes, why would you have to tell your husband? Well, they thought we had already been checked out by HRS and done the home study. And I didn't know nothing about it. And so she goes, well, never mind. Just bring me an outfit, honey, and tell your husband. I'm like, okay. I said, oh, okay, how am I going to tell my husband? I got to go find my husband.
And tell him that you're picking up a baby.
Yeah. And I said, by the way, what is your legal status for working, moms? She goes, oh, no, you have to take off a year. I said, oh, I have to quit my job? She goes, yes, ma'am. I said, Okay.
So I just need to stop for a moment.
Okay.
So where are you getting this phone call? You're at school?
I'm at school in the office.
And the attorney calls you because your name was on the list. Because you were talking about you were looking for 2 people. Didn't you? You attorney and a homemade?
Yeah, well, it was because I was doing career ed.
Right.
I was teaching.
And so you thought this attorney was calling you to come and talk career
to the kids.
Okay.
Yeah. But
so it
wasn't
a different conversation.
It was a totally different attorney. And this is the attorney for the adoption.
Okay.
But I did not know that.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Wow.
Yeah.
So you said, I have to take a year off, and then what happened?
Went to the store, got a little boy's
Had
outfit.
you talked to Fred at this point, her husband, Fred?
No. I haven't even talked to my
husband. So you got the outfit.
I just told the lady said to me, the secretary, she said, I need an answer, yes or no, because I have a lot of other people that are waiting. I said, oh, yes.
I want, and did you know it was a boy at this time? Did she told you?
Yes, we picked a boy.
Because she asked you want a boy or a girl, and you said a boy? Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
So anyways, long story short, I drop off the outfit, and then I take off to go find my husband.
Oh, my Lord.
My husband...
Fred doesn't know.
No, Fred doesn't
Does Fred
know.
want a baby?
Yes.
Okay, he's on board. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So we go to, my husband is in Plant City on a debit. He goes door to door with insurance. And so I'm thinking, how am I going to find him? There's no way. There's no phones back then. I go up and down all the streets of Plant City. I cannot find him.
You did not?
Yeah, I couldn't find him. So anyways, he finally gets home. And I had an extra outfit. Don't forget, I have no bed. I have no diapers. I have no bottles.
Nothing.
I have nothing. And in the morning, I'm getting a baby. And so I'm a little nervous. So anyways, I tell my
Fred
husband.
comes home.
He comes home and I said, sit down, honey. And my husband loves golf. So I picked up a little golf outfit. And he goes, oh, we're having a baby. And I said,
Kinda. Sorta.
yes. And he said, when? I said, tomorrow. And I made the mistake of being overexcited mom, you know. I said, and I talked to my principal about what was going on. He said, Mrs. Sumner, we love you here, but don't worry about a thing. You're free to go. Just get your stuff whenever you can. You are free to go. Don't worry about the contract. Everything's taken care of. We're so excited for you that you're going to adopt.
And so that's the way you told Fred that you were quitting your job.
Yes, and I said, and then I said, and I quit my job. And he goes, what?
Seriously.
Yeah. But then the part I didn't know is the joke is he was in the bed all day because his back was out. And so he laughed saying, I guess I was in labor for the kid.
This is crazy. So he was home the whole day?
But most of the day, yeah. So he had a late start. That's why he came home late.
Wow.
Yeah.
Labor.
Yeah.
Is that crazy?
Yeah.
So he on board clearly. You went the next day and you picked up the baby. Was that just a beautiful experience?
Well, it wasn't exactly the next day. They found out we hadn't been checked out by HRS. So they said, oh, you have to have all kinds of tests, blood work, physical. Just go on up to Watson Clinic. We'll hold the baby at the hospital for one more day.
Hold the baby at the hospital?
And they held the baby at the hospital for one more day.
Was this so exciting?
Yes.
I mean, seriously.
Yes. But then we had other obstacles, but it all worked out.
Yeah.
It all worked out.
We
have our beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
I didn't have anything.
So we took a segue. So we're back. So that was Keith.
That was Keith.
And then Kevin.
And then Kevin.
So
both miracles.
Did we finish the story about Kevin? I don't remember.
Yes.
I got excited.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So yes, it was a miracle you got pregnant and had a baby.
So I encourage anybody that's believing God even to adopt. God is able. God is able. Even if you're not on a list.
God can do it.
He can do it.
Adoption is wonderful.
Yes.
Babies are beautiful.
Adoption is like it is your child.
Yes.
It's not even an adoption issue.
Yes.
It's automatically yours.
So thank you, Nancy, for giving us some stories. And you have a lot of stories, so we will capture those at another day and another time. But we just hope that you've learned some wonderful God-inspiring things today, and we just want to share that there's hope, and God is faithful to hear and answer our prayers, right? So thank you so much, and we look forward to doing this again.